Hey there, Cowboys fan! Today we're diving into something that many of us might have overlooked during Dak Prescott's recent interview. Sure, it was a nice feel-good moment at a charity event, but there's a lot more going on than meets the eye. We're going to break down two crucial things that flew under the radar but could have a big impact on the upcoming season. You see, when a quarterback like Dak speaks, every word matters. It's not just about what he says, but what he doesn't say, and what's implied. In an offhand comment or a subtle mention, he might drop hints about the direction the Cowboys are headed in 2025, especially regarding some of the key players we're all watching closely. Now, before we dig deep into the specifics, let me ask you, have you hit that like button yet? It only takes a second and really helps us out as we grow this channel. Also, make sure to click the notification bell so you're always in the loop for all the latest Cowboys news. We're aiming for 13,000 subscribers and we need your support to get there. Alright, let's get to the good stuff. Dak's interview wasn't just about his usual leadership talk. He dropped some heavy hints about how certain players, especially some of the younger guys, could step up. And that's exactly what we're going to focus on today. What fans missed and why it matters. And let's talk about one of the names Dak Prescott made sure to mention, Jaylen Tolbert. It wasn't just a casual shout out. Dak made it clear, Tolbert needs to take a step forward this season. And that one line, it says a lot more than people realize. When your franchise quarterback brings up a specific player in an interview like this, especially unprompted, it usually means two things. One, that guy has been putting in the work behind the scenes, and two, the team is expecting a lot more from him moving forward. Now, let's be real for a second. Jaylen Tolbert hasn't had the breakout moment many fans were hoping for since he arrived in Dallas, but maybe, just maybe, that's about to change. The coaching staff clearly hasn't given up on him, and neither has Dak. In fact, when your quarterback speaks with that kind of expectation, it puts pressure on the player, but it's also a massive vote of confidence. And think about it, behind CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks, there's still room for a reliable WR3. Tolbert's size, route running, and familiarity with the system give him an edge. What's been missing is consistency, and that's something Dak hinted at improving. Let's throw a question out there. Do you think Jaylen Tolbert will finally meet the expectations this year? Or will 2025 be another disappointing chapter in his career? Vote in the comments. Yes, he's ready to shine. No, he's not the answer. Still too early to tell. And if you're one of those fans who's been critical of Tolbert so far, that's totally fair. But let's also look at the context. Young wide receivers don't always break out right away. Sometimes it takes a QB connection, the right scheme, and a little patience. That's what makes Dak's comments so interesting. It wasn't frustration. It was challenge mixed with belief. And when a leader like Dak puts that kind of faith in someone, you better believe the coaches are watching closely too. So now, as fans, we got to keep an eye on Tolbert this offseason. If he answers the call, the Cowboys' passing attack could become a real nightmare for opposing defenses. Drop a comment and let me know your take. Is Tolbert going to rise up and lock in that WR3 role? Or are the Cowboys going to need to look elsewhere for support behind CeeDee and Cooks? Alright, but this isn't the only eye-opener from Dak's interview. Up next, we're going to get into something even deeper. How Dak himself is handling the pressure and what that tells us about his mindset heading into this make or break year. Now let's dig into something a little heavier, Dak Prescott's mindset. In the same interview, there was a moment that a lot of people just brushed past, but not us. Because what Dak said about pressure, that hits different when you really stop to think about it. He talked openly about how he feels the weight of not having won a Super Bowl with the Cowboys yet. He knows what the expectations are from the fans, from the franchise, from the media. And even with the massive contract, all the headlines and the regular season success, there's still that one thing missing. And you could hear it in his voice. He's not numb to it. He's carrying it. But instead of folding under that pressure, he's using it. He said he's more motivated than ever. That's the kind of statement that can either be empty words or the start of something bigger. So let me ask you, do you believe Dak is finally ready to take that next step and lead this team to the Super Bowl? Vote below. Yes, this is the year. No, we've seen this before. Depends on the rest of the roster. What really stood out is how Dak framed this. Pressure. He's not just trying to win for himself. He wants to inspire his teammates, sure, but also inspire the fans and the next generation of players who look up to him. That's leadership. And say what you will about his playoff record, Dak never hides. He shows up, takes accountability, and keeps working. And that mentality, it matters, especially in a locker room full of young talent who need that kind of example. It's easy to overlook that part of being a quarterback. It's not just about the stats. It's about how you carry the team in the toughest moments. And Dak's saying loud and clear, he's not backing down. So here's another one for the comments. Do you feel like Dak's leadership is underrated? Or are fans right to want more from him? Let's talk about it down below. And hey, if you like seeing this side of Dak, the focused and fired up version, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 13,000 subscribers, and your support means everything. But there's another side to Dak's comments, and that's what we're diving into next, the players around him. Because leadership only goes so far if the rest of the team doesn't rise up too. And that's where things get really interesting. All right, now that we've looked at Dak's leadership and mindset, let's talk about something just as important, the people around him. Because in that same interview, Dak made something crystal clear. He can't do it alone. He didn't name names to throw anyone under the bus, but you could read between the lines. He talked about how the team needs certain guys to elevate their game. And when you really listen, it's obvious. He's talking to players like Mazi Smith and Sam Williams. These are talented guys, drafted with high hopes. And now it's time for them to show up. Not just as role players, not just filling in when needed, but as real contributors, guys who can make an impact week in and week out. And here's something for you to think about. Who do you believe needs to step up the most for the Cowboys this season? Drop a name in the comments. Let's see which players the fans are really keeping an eye on in 2025. Now, it's not just the young players. Dak also hinted at something deeper, the balance between experience and youth. On one hand, you've got rising talents like Mazi and Sam trying to find their place. On the other, you've got seasoned playmakers like Micah Parsons and CeeDee Lamb already carrying a huge load. It's a tough spot, but championship teams, they don't just rely on stars. They rely on depth, on the next man up delivering when it matters. And that's exactly what Dak was getting at. This season, everyone has to rise. The question is, will they? If you're with us so far and you're enjoying this breakdown, do your part, hit that subscribe button, and help us push toward our goal of 13,000 Cowboys fans strong. And don't forget to click the bell so you never miss when we drop a new video. All right, we've broken down the hidden gems in Dak's words, his motivation, the pressure, and the call to his teammates. But what does all of this mean for the bigger picture? Let's bring it all together and look ahead to what we can really expect from the Cowboys in 2025. Oh, let's bring it all together. Dak Prescott's recent interview wasn't just a routine off-season chat. It was packed with subtle messages that fans like us needed to hear if we were really paying attention. First, Dak's mention of Jaylen Tolbert, that was no throwaway comment. It was a challenge, a wake-up call that this young wideout must step into a bigger role if this offense is going to reach its full potential. Then there's Dak himself. No matter what's said in the media, this guy is still burning with motivation, still chasing that Super Bowl, still leading by example, but more than ever he's aware he can't carry this team alone. That's where players like Mazi Smith and Sam Williams come in. Their growth could very well define how far the Cowboys go in 2025. So here's the big question for you, my friend. What do you expect from the Cowboys this season? Is this finally the year everything clicks? Let me know your take down in the comments. And hey, if you believe in this team like I do, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and join us on the road to 13,000 subscribers. Let's ride into 2025 together.